I just finished filming a unboxing and first impressions of the Whispering Spirits Tarot when this arrived. 2 decks in one day. How exciting. This, I'm pretty sure I know what it is. I've been waiting so long, and I normally don't really do unboxings all that often, but people have been asking me to do this one, and I don't know. It turns out we're doing 2 in one day. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm really excited about this one. Let's have a look. Look at the deck in them. Oh, I do love a nice tarot bag, and so clearly we're looking at the Spacious Tarot here. It's lovely, and I'm guessing some postcards. Oh, or are these stickers? No, they're postcards. Awesome. Oh, I have not seen all of the cards. I've been making an effort to avoid looking at unboxings and everything, but that's a nice touch. And then these stickers, oh, that's our Hermit card. Isn't that lovely? And a moon, I suppose. Oh, it's so pretty. The artwork in this is phenomenal, even though I haven't oh, I got a little banged up, but hopefully nothing too bad. Like, the box will still function, I'm sure. This is a deck I've been really excited about, and I just have to say that the whole experience of this Kickstarter was amazing. Pre-ordering decks, I don't generally like to do it. I really don't do it very often. Kickstarter, I know it's a big thing, and I understand the positives to it, but I have to say, with the Spacious Tarot and how Carrie ran everything, it was so smooth. They didn't do the Kickstarter until they'd pretty well finished the deck, I think, or close to it. And they just, everything was seamless. They knew what they were doing, they had a plan, and they stuck to it. And I don't know, I think that's how a Kickstarter should be, really. But anyway, that's my little rant. Let's have a look. This space is for you. Oh, that's lovely. Then we have our guidebook. I don't know how to say Annie's surname, but Annie is the artist. So we have quite a bit of info for a little book, which I like. And then, of course, the cards, what we're all really here for. It does kind of have that gap that decks seem to have. But I'm sure after a bit of shuffling and use it'll wear in. Oh, I like the size of this. It's like, I don't know if it is actually smaller than a normal card, but it's definitely not big. I like that. It's not pocket, obviously, but it's not big. And this cardstock feels really nice. But anyway, let's have a look at these beautiful cards. Here is our Fool. I honestly just love the simplicity of this deck, and I love the name of this deck too, the Spacious Tarot, because I just feel like, and that's our backing, I don't know if I feel like there's so much space being given to us as readers in this deck. The simplicity of it, I think, is really clever. I do feel like it's one of those decks that is almost deceiving in its simplicity. I can imagine that kind of getting the energies and the meanings of these cards right in such a simple way, but still conveying so much. It takes an efficiency, I suppose, to still be effective. And I think it's easy to look at this and be like, oh, it's so simple. But I feel like in order to achieve that, so much thought and work would have had to go into this to get it right, to make it feel spacious instead of sparse, if that makes sense. And I think that's brilliant. This Emperor is so interesting to me, because when I think of poppies, there's a few things that come to mind. The first is obviously war and memorial. The second is the idea of tall poppy syndrome. And the third is Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. And I feel like I could apply all of those to the Emperor in a different way. So I'm just curious. This is one of those cards where I really want to see what Carrie has said about it. So I guess this is a good way for us to sample the book together. So we have 3 keywords: structure, discipline, and order. The Emperor directs you to be rational and reasonable. While the flowers of the Empress are sprawling and abundant, the poppies of the Emperor fall into line. But the Emperor's structure is not at odds with the Empress's nurture. In truth, they complement one another. Red is the color of power, and the power of this card can be constructive or destructive. In its shadow aspect, the Emperor's discipline can be harmful and controlling, but helpful systems create space for beautiful things to grow. How might a healthy sense of discipline serve your vision of greatness? This card also asks you to be regimented. Tap into your inner authority and give yourself permission to be a leader. Consider what is in your best interest as well as what is in the interest of the whole. Then impose your boundaries and take charge of your environment. The Hierophant. Isn't that just stunning? Honestly, like, I know that Carrie is obviously like the creator of the deck, but I'm sure Annie had plenty of input too. But just even if Annie had no input, the art itself is incredible. Like, the way that that light comes forth is just, it's just beautiful. The Lovers. The simplicity of this deck is so ridiculous, but it's so effective. It's honestly just gorgeous. The Chariot. I love this because it feels like we're moving, like we're not sitting in front of the chariot, we are in the chariot, or in this case the boat. Although I do still like how, like, these walls, these cliffs, one does kind of look like dark or black and the other kind of looks light or white, so we get that balance from the Rider-Waite-Smith too. Like, it's all here, just done in a really effective way, and I like that perspective switch too. Strength. I think this is sweet. Although, honestly, with all all that the background is reminding me right now of is smoke, given my current circumstances. So that's kind of giving me a bit of a different interpretation of this card and what strength might mean. But I do love this with the flower on a, yeah, it's pretty. The Hermit is really, really striking. I don't know if the lighting is very good for this card, but it's beautiful. I really like this Wheel of Fortune. It's basically the seasons, but represented very, very simply. I know a lot of the time when we have seasons in the Wheel of Fortune, it almost comes off a bit cheesy or easy, whereas this is just really, really simple. Justice. This is really interesting, but I like it a lot. For me, I mean, people kind of have different ideas of what justice means, and I found that sometimes people will switch up depending on the school that they're coming from. The Justice and the Judgment cards, people have different ideas about those, and they kind of cross over depending on who you're talking to. For me, I like to think of justice in much more of the mundane sort of way, as opposed to judgment being a more cosmic idea. And this Justice card of, like, the ripple effects of our actions, and how one small action, you know, it has that ripple effect that can go on to do things that we had no idea, regardless of our intentions or what we thought we were doing. And ultimately, we have to be responsible for those, yeah? I don't know, I think that is so effective, and I just love it. The Hanged One. I think this is so interesting, because I think I've said before in videos where there's a handful of the cards in the tarot where, despite how crazy and out there people get with, or creators get with their interpretations of other cards, some cards kind of haven't varied all that much. The Three of Swords is one, the Hanged Man is another, and sometimes the Wheel of Fortune can be too. But the Hanged Man, or the Hanged One in this case, I mean, how many upside down people or figures have we had? And I can't think of many decks that have really switched the card on its head. And I mean, yes, pun intended, I suppose. But this one has, and it's really kind of just picked. I suppose part of the reason is because there's so many different interpretations of that hanging man, yeah? But this one's kind of picked one and run with it, and that is the perspective change. And I like it a lot. I think it's great. The Hanged Man is my birth card, so I have a lot of feelings about the Hanged Man or the Hanged One, and I really like this. Death, I think, is beautiful, how we have kind of this growth along the bones, but then it's like reaching out for the flower. Temperance. Why does this just remind me of like Game of Thrones? A Song of Ice and Fire. It's really cool though. The Devil. I love this Devil card. The Devil is my card of the year, which is a whole lot of fun. But I love this. More or less reminds me of the idea of you can't see the forest for the trees, and getting really caught up in the head in that way, and how our perspective can lock us in. Like these it almost looks like the bars of a jail cell or something. But in reality, if we had a different look, this could actually be quite a beautiful thing. So for me, this kind of really plays on that mental aspect of the Devil, of holding ourselves back, of kind of caging ourselves in, of letting those kind of really deep-seated, almost primal fears and desires take over. It's actually reminded me of an SG1 episode too, which I'm loving that this deck, with how simple it is jogging memories for me, that are giving me a whole new look at the card, and giving me some really great ways to draw meaning from the card. I like that. I like a card that kind of can just speak to you on that personal level and get you thinking and get you rolling with your own ideas, instead of, I suppose, imposing a meaning upon you. And again, the Spacious Tarot, that name is perfect. Oh my God, I'm really falling in love with this deck as I'm going through it, and I'm realizing I'm going so slowly. I love this. I love how it's kind of, it looks like somebody's done those rock balancing things, yeah, where they spend ages getting the perfect rocks to balance, and then it's all being torn down. The star is beautiful, and it's kind of the same image but lightened up on the box. I like how with the trees kind of imposing on us from our perspective, it kind of gives a few different, it lends itself to a few different meanings of the star, because I know there are a few different ones, and I hope this again isn't too dark. But we have trees kind of encircling, it looks like we're standing on the ground looking up, and the tips of the trees are pointing into the sky and above the star. So I get kind of two elements of it, of the like the practical navigation of us being stuck in the forest somewhere, not really kind of, or trying to get our bearings basically to get out, but then also that sense of hope when we do find some direction. The moon, which was one of our stickers and is just stunning. Stunning. The sun, I love sunflowers, I love the sun card, I like this one. Judgment. This is interesting. I haven't seen this one, I don't think. I like how it's like a fairy door. Actually, you know what it sort of reminds me of? I know it's not quite right, but with the path and how the path then continues, it reminds me of The Wizard of Oz, like the film, how it starts out in black and white. I mean, this isn't black and white, but it's fairly monochromatic. And then once we end up in Oz, everything turns to color. That's what this reminds me of. And I kind of love that. That's beautiful. And the world. Oh, it's lovely. Really beautiful. All right, I'll try to speed this up a little bit because I know I'm going very, very slowly. But the Ace of Pentacles. 2, it's so pretty. 3, I love this. How the roots are all intertwined. Oh, I love it. 4 of Pentacles. This is really beautiful and so simple. 5. What's going on here? I can't quite see. I'll have to have a closer look at that one, but it's pretty. 6 of Pentacles. Like 2 empty nests. This one feels more like a decision, which, I mean, I do think the 6 of Pentacles is anyway. But this one feels like that decision is being made really, really clear to us. Like who gets our generosity and why? Who gets to receive our kindness and why, and what that looks like. That's what this is reminding me of, and I really like that a lot. I think that's actually quite challenging. I don't know if that's what she's intended, but let's have a quick look. I have to say, I do love how we have the suit written here, so you can flick through quickly and very easily. That makes it very easy to navigate the book. I love that. Six of Pentacles, reciprocity, giving and receiving. The Six of Pentacles turns your attention to all that you have as well as what you don't have. The Pentacles here could represent any type of resource, time, money, skills, and so on. How are you distributing your resources? Where there is lack, are you choosing to give and receive? Perhaps these pentacles are finding their way into the nests below, or perhaps they are emerging from the nests and being offered up to higher plane. Either way, the importance of reciprocity is highlighted. If you give when the timing is right to give, you will be supported in return. Obviously, this is all very Rider-Waite-Smith in terms of the core meanings, but I love that she's, I don't know, taken us slightly in a new, just given us a bit of a new perspective, or opened the cards up for us. Seven of Pentacles, pumpkin, our busy bee, and the Eight of Pentacles. 9. Oh, that's really pretty. I like that. And the 10. And the Child of Pentacles. That's adorable. That's actually like almost too cute. It's so sweet. Explorer. Okay, so I like that we've changed the court cards to Guardian of Pentacles. Oh, I love that. An Elder of Pentacles. That's beautiful. Now onto the swords. I love that kind of symmetry and structure of it. Kind of looks like Annie gave herself lines in order to draw the card in the right proportions, but then just didn't erase it. I like that. It reminds me of like fresh plans and all of that sort of thing, the beginning of that. Two of Swords. 3. These kind of feel very seasonal. The Pentacles felt very autumnal, and the Swords are feeling very wintry, which is interesting. Because I'm not sure that's really how I feel about the seasons where I live. But it's interesting. I like that a lot for the Seven of Swords. That's interesting. I kind of, you know how like in the Eight of Swords normally we have like a figure who's tied up. I'm kind of not sure what our focus is. I suppose that's just me being very person-centric. But I'm not sure whether our focus is this sword or that sword, and I suppose that's part of the interpretive process. Or it could be something else entirely. Oh, you really feel that, don't you? 10 of Swords. Child. We have a lot of crows. Crows and winter for the sword. Explorer. Ooh. Risky business there. Guardian. Oh, I love just like the pose. It looks very like alert. Not alarmed, just alert. Oh, and that's beautiful. Really lovely. Ace, I've got the spark. Really nice. Oh, that's beautiful. And then 3, kind of look like they're lighting the path, don't they? 4. I love how this one, he's like fizzled out. Like they're losing the battle and losing their energy or their drive. 6, we got the laurel wreath there. 7. This looks like almost like the Elder Wand. I know it's not, but it looks very much like a wand, like a Harry Potter wand, as opposed to more sticks like the rest of them, which I quite like for the 7 of Wands. 8 of Wands. They look like shooting stars. 9. It's very Marseille-ish, isn't it? Some of these cards. 10. The colours of the wand suit are beautiful. Child of Wands. We have like the salamanders. Looks like that spark's just gotten going. Oh, and then learning to use that power. I like that. Guardian of Wands. That's beautiful. Like the colour in that. I don't know how well that's picking up. Oh, that looks quite celebratory, doesn't it? It's beautiful. Oh, that is stunning. Like a whole world in that cup from the reflection. Beautiful. Oh, I love this too. That's so tranquil. This almost looks like the cups are out at the day spa. I don't know, I like that. It's really lovely. That's honestly what I'm picturing. I'm picturing friends at kind of like they've gone to the hot springs or something to hang out. Oh, wow. That is a stunning 4 of Cups. Kind of all this rushing and turbulence and change happening around the cups, but the cups are just steady on a rock. Not going anywhere. Not going with the flow at all, but steady. That's interesting how stark this card is compared to so much of the deck, which is really bright and colourful. Like even just compared to this card here, which is really cute. And I think that works for the kind of the innocence and then, that naive sort of angle that the 6 of Cups can have. That's really cute. 7. Ah. 8. Oh, I love this. Reminds me a little of the Hermit with like kind of the path going up the hill, the mountain. Kind of looks like a solo trip. Beautiful. Oh, 9 of Cups too. I love how we often have called the 9 of Cups the wish card, and I mean that's contentious. Everybody has different opinions on that. But then we literally have a dandelion, and we all know that when you blow out a dandelion, you have to make a wish. I like that. I think it's really sweet. And the 10 of Cups. All the colour and everything welling together. This is probably my least favourite card so far, but I don't particularly dislike it. It's just so many of these cards are blowing me away, and that one is not so much, but that's okay. This is beautiful with the cherry blossoms. Oh, I like that. Going for a deep dive. Got a bit more confidence in the deep water. Oh, wow. That is stunning. I really hope these colours are picking up okay. I've not filmed out here before, and I'm realising it might have been a bit too dark. Sorry about that, but it's beautiful. And the Elder of Cups. Oh. Oh, that's just stunning. I'm a little emotional. This deck has actually really kind of blown me away. I mean, I backed it on Kickstarter because I was pretty confident I was going to like the deck. but I don't know. It's hard to know, especially with the Kickstarter, because you can't watch unboxings, you can't watch other people review the deck. You kind of just have to trust the creator more than anything, I suppose. And I mean, I have been following Carrie for a long time, so I suppose I had that trust in her partly for that reason. But also, this is just incredible. Like I said at the beginning, just how simple this is, I think is deceptive, because it's simple, yes, in its execution, but putting this together, I feel like would have been, like, just everything about this has to be perfect in order for it to be effective. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you only have so many elements in a card, you really have to get those elements right. You can't rely on, you know, other elements doing more of the work. You know, you really just have to get what you've got right. And I feel like for almost all of it, they really have. And this is not, I haven't really seen these cards before. You know what I mean? Like the perspective switches on things, and like the slight changes, you know, with the Hanged one. I haven't seen these cards before. I have not seen the tarot in this way before. And I really like that. I think Carrie and Annie have really given us something quite special, and I am chuffed. As suspected, it shuffles beautifully. Although I will say that I think this is going to be one of those decks that nicks pretty clear, like the nicks and bumps on the sides are going to come up pretty quickly. I don't think it's going to age super well in terms of, you know, if you're a bit of a stickler for your cards being perfect. I'm sure it'll, yeah, see, I've just been shuffling for a moment here, and I've got, I don't know if you can see that corner there. These sort of things don't bother me, because, you know, I want to use my decks, and I figure, you know, eventually the decks will get a bit worn in, and that's all right. But if you're a bit of a stickler for that, I think, especially because there's no borders and these colors are so beautiful, I think that is definitely going to be a thing with this deck, that the edges aren't going to stay super neat, and they're going to get a bit chipped and a bit, you know, you're going to see that white coming through a little bit. But I think that's the only thing to note, really. Otherwise, it seems like a pretty special and impressive deck, and I'm really excited about this one, if I'm honest. And of course, before we finish up, I have to thank my patrons over on Patreon for all of their support. It's been incredible having you guys over there. I really, really appreciate it. And of course, a big extra special thank you to Tracy Timmerman, Laurie, Lynette Brown, and Hales K. Thank you all so, so much. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have this deck, let me know how you're getting on, because I know I'm kind of late to the party being in Australia, everything taking so long to get here. But I am excited to get stuck in. And I will talk to you all next time. So much love. Bye.